Hey, and we are live. Hello, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, man? Hope
We
everyone's
are
doing well.
we are here for the inaugural Mad Men in a Box. That's what we're calling this. That's what I'm
Oh
calling
yeah.
this anyway. Uh, this is where we are going to go and start with episode 1 of New Who, Rose, and work our way through to the last episode of Capaldi's run. Because anything after that isn't real Doctor Who. This isn't a watch along. We're not going to be watching any video. Well, actually, I do have a couple small videos queued up, but we're not going to be watching the episode. We're not going to be. We're talking about it. We're sharing our experiences. You know, why we came to Doctor Who, what we like about it, what we thought about the episode. You know, that's where we're at. And as you guys fill in with the chat, or if you catch us later on the replay, let us know in the comments. When did you come into Doctor Who? What is your entry point? What was your gateway episode, so to speak? Chris, since I have you here today, when did you come into Doctor Who?
It would be this episode. It would be this episode, kind of, New Who. I mean, I was aware of Doctor Who as a thing, kind of before then, obviously. But I mean, I was a cool kid back then. I didn't watch old sci-fi. That's all rubbish. Whatever the cool and relevant thing was. So, New Who hit. They had all the snazzy trailers. They did a great marketing job for it. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'm going to watch this on Saturday, 6 p.m. maybe, 7 p.m. I can't remember. And away we went. We have got someone in the chat as well, by the way, already. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes.
Council Opus.
9 and Rose were there first. Good. I'm an old school Doctor Who fan. I came in. I was watching. I live here in the States, so I didn't have Doctor Who readily available. Just every Saturday. Or
to be
Sunday.
fair though, even if I did want to, I wouldn't have either, because there wasn't really iPlayer and all this kind of stuff back then.
Yeah, we had we have the thing called PBS, the Public Broadcasting System station, and they would show old Doctor Who, like late Saturday night, or sometimes Saturday afternoon, and it was usually followed or before you saw Doctor Who, they show an episode of Monty Python or Red Dwarf, nice. And then they lead into Doctor Who. And me and a friend of mine, good friend of mine back then, we'd stay up late Saturday night. We'd watch whatever came up first, Monty Python or Red Dwarf. Sometimes Blake 7. They showed that before. And then we get into the Doctor Who. And it was like it was like a roll of the dice. We didn't know who we were getting. We were getting John Pertwee, Tom Baker. We were getting first or second Doctor. You never knew. It was whoever we got, and we loved it. We didn't care who we got. We just wanted to see Doctor Who. So you were talking about snazzy trailers.
It was everything, to be fair, kind of the marketing, the BBC idents and all that kind of stuff. They carpet bombed, and that was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Here's one. Here's a Doctor Who trailer that came out before the series showed up. Let's take a look at it.
Do you want to come with me?
Absolutely. When I was growing up, when I was watching Doctor Who, I absolutely wanted to get on the TARDIS.
And why wouldn't you?
And go on a crazy adventure, because Tom Baker was my doctor. And I just wanted to travel in the TARDIS so badly with him. It was so cool.
Because if you do, then I should warn you. Because if you do, then I should warn you. You're going to see all sorts of things.
And the music. I know you and I talk about music a lot, when we're talking about movies and TV shows. The way they updated the theme for Doctor Who, I was over the moon. I mean, I couldn't get enough.
And when we get into the episode, we'll talk about that. But yeah, music is it's right up there as being one of the most important things for a successful TV series.
But we'll keep going. We'll keep going watching the trailer.
Ghosts from the past, aliens from the future, the day the Earth died in a ball of flame. It won't be quiet, it won't be safe, and it won't be calm. But I tell you what it will be. The trip of a lifetime.
It's a trick, man. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I love this.
Trip of a lifetime.
Doctor Who, Saturdays at 7 on BBC One.
Yeah.
You don't get that anymore.
No.
You don't. The lame ass programming on the BBC. They try and do stuff like that. It's just not the same. It's just sterile. Mm-hmm. It's like that was exciting. That made you kind of stand up to attention and go, "Wow, what the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just being an old school fan, I was devastated when I heard Doctor Who was canceled back in '89. To see Sylvester McCoy literally walk off into the sunset and say, we got adventures, we got more adventures to come. And that was it. And I was like, it's terrible. And then we had the wilderness years where we had the Paul McGann movie in '96, which I love that movie.
Yeah, same.
I remember I had a VHS recorder. I recorded the video. I recorded the movie when it was on Fox television here in the States.
Yeah. And
then when I saw it was on DVD, I bought the DVD immediately. I snatched that bad boy up, and I watch it occasionally today. I mean, at least once a year, I'll throw it in.
See, I only really caught on to it a couple of years ago, just by chance on New Year's Day. Just thought I'd throw it on, and I was hooked. I was like, this is just everything I love. Kind of the retro, kind of '90s kind of vibe. Everything just kind of worked. So that's a thing now. And that's what Doctor Who can do. It was on at Christmas. It was something to be watched at Christmas, New Year's. And I guess now all you can do is play back the Christmas episodes, roll it into your own kind of traditions as best as you can. So New Year's Day now, begrudgingly, I don't think my kind of better half is much of a fan of this one, but we'll watch it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
My wife, she is a fan of Matt Smith's Doctor.
Yeah.
She loves Matt Smith's Doctor. So I don't know if she'll watch this, our weekly show, this until we get to Matt Smith. She may, because she's my wife and she supports me in what we do.
Under duress.
Under duress sometimes. But yeah, I mean it's one of those things where I tried to introduce her to Doctor Who. For whatever reason, she got attached to Matt Smith. Her and my daughter, they love Matt Smith. I mean, when it comes to my daughter, all she wants to do is watch the 11th Doctor and any episode that has Weeping Angels.
There should only be one episode, though, in my opinion. I mean, that's a different conversation, but it should have been limited to Blink only. It didn't feel the same when they kept on kind of rolling it out and rolling it out and rolling it out. And it's like, it's the Dalek effect, isn't it? We talk about this all the time. And again, that's another perfect example. As it went on, they just started adding more and more and more. And it became less scary because what's there to be scared about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we'll eventually get to Blink, and we'll talk about Blink. It might take us a couple months to get there since we're doing this once a week, and
it'll take us a couple of months to get over talking about it.
Today we're talking about Rose. So one more quick video, and then we will start talking about the episode event. Rose.
Rob.
They got to be students.
That makes sense. Well done.
Thanks.
They're not students. I'm going to go first. And I might well die in the process, but don't worry about me, no. You go on. Go on. Go have your lovely beans on toast. Don't tell them what about this, because if you do, you'll get them killed.
The Doctor is a legend woven for love.
Just thinking the BBC is going to strike you for using the theme.
Well, I'm stopping it now, for hopefully they won't strike me too hard. Hey, I'm giving you if the BBC needs anything right now, it's good press.
They don't care,
and I'm
they don't
trying
care,
to do
man.
Nice.
If you're not talking about Palestine or all that kind of crap, they don't care.
Well, with it's half there. It's plastic, but but we will go on with the trailer for Rose.
Yeah.
When disaster comes, he's there. He brings the storm in his wake.
I'm the Doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose. Run for your life. Stay here, fill your life with work and food and sleep, while you could go anywhere.
Is it always this danger?
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, it is always that dangerous. So, did you watch Rose when it first came out? Did you watch it when it
Yeah, first live transmission. Before kind of the internet was a major thing for broadcasting kind of TV stuff. Yeah. All the DVDs as they came out, because as always, the BBC had to be a shit show about it, and they released like individual volumes, with like 3 episodes a piece on, because they wanted that money. Back then the BBC were hungry for money, and even if that meant stitching you up instead of just releasing like a full volume, like no, you've got to spend 70 quid on like different DVD sets. Now it's, well, we don't really care because, we're just going to get funded the next year anyway. But yeah, saw it live, man.
Yeah, over here it was a little more difficult when it first came out because if I'm thinking correctly, I think somebody recorded it and posted it onto YouTube.
I wouldn't get away with that now, would you?
I can't get away with that now. But back then, they posted to YouTube. I think I watched the first episode or 2 on YouTube, and then the Sci-Fi Channel picked it up, and they started showing it. And then BBC America showed up. Either they were here before and I didn't realize it, or they were here the whole time. But then they started showing it, and that's where I started. That's where I watched Doctor Who from that point on. Was BBC America.
Yeah, I think you could be right. Hopefully someone will correct one way or the other, but there's something in the back of my head that there was a launch of BBC America or something. Do you know what I mean? So I think you were right. I don't think it was a thing.
But I know when it showed up and they said we're showing Doctor Who, I was there I think it was Saturdays. Every Saturday I was there watching Doctor Who. I didn't care. I mean, I had friends going out drinking and like, hey, you got? No, Doctor Who's on. Doctor Who's on. I'm watching it.
I'm doing something more manly. I'm watching Doctor Who.
Now, to get ready for the stream, not only did I rewatch Rose twice, but I also went back to John Pertwee, John Pertwee's first episode when he showed up as the Doctor, the third Doctor, Spearhead from Space. And that's when the Autons showed up. And he fought them, got rid of them. And the next year, the Master shows up. And he's got the Autons as his willing subjects. Terror of the Autons, that episode. And that was 70 and 71, I think. And then nothing from them until we see them again in 2005 with Rogue. Okay. Which I thought was just, I mean, when I first saw the episode Rose and I saw that they were Autons, I lost it. I thought it was great. I'm like, here is a great classic Doctor Who character. I know people like to call this New Who a reboot. This feels more of a revival. It's a reboot to me, at least to me, is a complete redo. We're starting from
I agree.
We're starting from zero and moving on. Whereas
I think sometimes reboot is just used now, isn't it, just to cover the myriad of things. But I would agree, it was a revival, like a jump start again.
Yeah.
Because they kind of semi-refer back to other things, So I think that's fair to say. It wasn't, and as the series went on, they started referring more and more. Maybe towards the end they shouldn't have, but the Autons were a great. I didn't even know what they were called back then, but they were a great jumping on point. Maybe there was something else they could have used, but I couldn't think of one. I think it was just something simple that could scare the kids a little bit. Because doesn't matter what people debate about. There were children watching it. It was what it was. And it was almost kind of, there's a little bit of kind of comedy there as well, particularly with, the little kid Autons walking out kind of, 3/4 way through the show. I don't know actually whether they're creepy or funny, but I did want someone to just kick them, just kick the baby South Park style, boot one, but we didn't get that, unfortunately.
No, we didn't. But yeah, that would have been funny. Yeah, it's people already just in real life. There are people who don't like shop mannequins because they're just creepy looking, and then they have them come to life and all of a sudden have a gun in their hand, have their hand drop open and have this gun that's just pop, shooting people. I mean, it's even scarier, and I know one of the things people, at least the people running Doctor Who in the old days, were saying is they wanted kids to jump behind the couch.
Yeah.
And they wanted to scare them enough to get them behind the couch, but just peek over enough to like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? And
you would get that, wouldn't you?
That's great.
Yeah, and you would, and from the minute, well, not the minute, but from when the episode started opening up, and you had the scene with Billy going down to hand the lottery money, whatever it was in. You got that unselling music. I don't know how you want to do this. You want to break down the episode bit by bit or whatever. How do you want to lay the episode out?
We can kind of start at the beginning and work our way through it. Cool. So yeah, we can start here. It's good.
Well, we're going to go the very beginning. You've got that great score. We see the planet, we see the Earth, and it kind of great kind of scene, kind of almost Call of Duty, like kind of drilling down into exactly where kind of Rose was. Brilliant music. It went from breathtaking orchestra to kind of whatever the fuck you'd call it. I'm not a music connoisseur. I just like it or don't. And just you knew from those first kind of 10 seconds, like this is going to be good.
Yeah. It was very chaotic the first 10, 15 seconds. Just seeing Rose, she hits the alarm clock. She gets up. You pass Jackie. Jackie's just laying there on the phone talking.
Fantastic.
That informs you that's Jackie for the next 2 seasons.
Fantastic casting as well. But I think really as well is that probably resonated with most people back then. That's a lot of people. That was their morning. It was chaos. Kind of being woken up and thinking, I've got to be somewhere.
And the thing about the lottery money, that must be a completely British thing because over here in America, we sell lottery tickets just about everywhere except department stores. So seeing a department store have lottery money, especially in like a little plastic envelope.
Well, that was for that was probably for like a staff lottery, wasn't it? I imagine. Where I don't know if you guys do it in the US, but in the UK, in a workplace, people would put their money together to buy kind of tickets, and the idea is that you pay together and you win together.
Okay, well, yeah, we do that over here.
Yeah, so that's what that reference was. That was the money to go to whoever it was that goes and organizes the tickets and stuff.
Okay, Wilson, the electrician.
Wilson's dead.
Wilson's dead. Wilson's dead.
But when she hits the elevator and the music flips and it goes into kind of not like ultra creepy, but it goes into unsettling and it kind of sets the stage. Again, Murray Gold, fantastic. It absolutely sucks what they did, or what they got him to do in the the last dying gasps of Docky Who. But again, just that scene, that one scene, and then the mannequins start moving, and you think, oh, it wasn't enough to. If you were an adult, it wasn't really enough to scare you, but it was quite unsettling because you say the whole thing of mannequins and stuff. Not for me.
Yeah, seeing Rose down there, and she's trying to find Wilson, and all of a sudden the lights just kind of come on one at a time with the big, and I'm like, ooh, that's getting a little creepy.
And it shows, I don't know, maybe if that was the intention, but it shows Rose for being a bit of a dummy, pardon the pun. Is this a setup? What do you think? Do you know what I mean? It's like, back then, there was no way that you'd be able to get this. You thought they orchestrated it? Like how? What's going through your head? And you just stand there while they kind of encroach. They advance towards you. Like fucking run, idiot.
Yeah, that's what I'm streaming now. I was just watching it this morning. I'm like, run, just run, turn around and drop the money and go.
But we need the setup, don't we? We need the setup to bring in
the doctor and having the doctor show up the way he did was to use his words, fantastic. Just you
see his hand first. I think, don't you? His hand gonna grab hers. Then it goes to his face. Run. Just again, brilliant.
Which again informs. This is what's going to happen from now until Doctor Who, becomes crap. You're going to have the Doctor and a companion just running.
I know it's
either to something or from something.
Don't it probably isn't. Don't want to go that deep. It's just a TV program, but. The episode, there's a lot of focus around like physical connection. You've got that kind of opening scene where he kind of grabs her hand to save her. We've got the scene in the middle of the episode where he's talking about kind of the earth moving and falling from like kind of grounding you, kind of almost. Just
talking about human connection and stuff. At the beginning, you see a lot of before Rose meets the Doctor. In that whole montage of stuff going on, you see Rose and Mickey.
Yeah.
And Mickey is supposedly her boyfriend. Yet, even back then, even back in 2005, when I watched this the first time, she never seemed like she was interested in Mickey.
Mickey gets a very bad ride throughout Doctor Who for the most part. Until they kind of put him together with Martha, I think, isn't it?
But that's way in season 4.
Yeah. But what I mean is overall, just he gets, and this episode is no different. Particularly when we get to the ending line, it sounds like Mickey is always there for her, but she's never really there for him.
Yeah, she seems like he's somebody that she'll hang out with when she needs something.
Yeah.
But when she doesn't need him, he's just a nuisance.
It's a running theme, and once you're unplugged from the Matrix and you realize that actually Rose is not a very nice character, the longer Doctor Who goes on, you see that immediately from when you kind of see a kind of jealous girlfriend in series 4, when you rewatch series 1, you can't unsee it. And the points are there, like even kind of towards the end where it's, she says thanks and he says for what? She's like, exactly. And when you first watch it, you think, oh, yeah, because he's rubbish. But actually, when you watch it all back, you think, actually, you're a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey would do anything for her. And as a matter of fact,
he does.
I mean, in the weeks to come, at least, especially in this first season when we get there, he's going to do a lot more for her. I'm not trying to give anything away, but he's going to do a lot more for her. And in season 2, even more. He's going to do even more, and he is going to come out looking infinitely better than Rose is.
Yeah,
in the end,
just sad. But the episode is framed that he's kind of the one, he is kind of the useless one.
Yeah, I mean, the entire episode makes him look like a complete moron.
Yeah, like baggage. He's just being dragged around. Yeah,
he's framed almost like the jealous boyfriend when Rose goes to talk to Clive. When she's trying to find out who the doctor is, and she finds Clive, and they drive there. Mickey's like, "Oh, you want me to come in with you? Just simmer down, Mickey. You're fine." And then
he was right.
Sorry,
he's right.
Well, I mean,
and no man in their right mind, or it rolled reverse. We're equal society now and all that. But if you go and your girlfriend goes, "Oh, I'm going to go into this random man's house I've been talking to on the internet," then no, you're not.
True.
But the way they frame it is like that he's being overzealous, unnecessarily so. But actually, when you think about it, he was right all along.
And actually, he was right.
Yeah, Mickey was right. And if Mickey had went in with them, he wouldn't have been caught by the bin, which wouldn't have led, the doctor wouldn't have been ambushed, if you think about it.
Yeah. And the bin scene, that was half cool, half cringy, to tell you the truth, because the entire fight scene with him, he got his hand stuck. He's pulling.
I like that you call it a fight scene, Steve.
I mean, it was like, okay, it went on just a little bit too long.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that is just simply down to they had a run time and they needed to pad.
Either that, or they were just, they were showing, hey, this isn't like old Doctor Who where, people walk across the set and it shakes and you can see. We actually have good, special effects now. Watch as Mickey fights with a trash bin.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't offend me, kind of, so to speak. I mean, they added the burp, and I think that was the right thing to do, because then you've got this kind of silly little scene and there's a little bit of a comedy payoff. It went on a little bit too long, I think. Maybe they could have made it a bit more sinister. Maybe the burp was the wrong thing to do. Maybe it should have been a little bit shorter, a little bit more kind of unsettling music, and the bin gobbles him up. And you've got kind of almost like a mimic in D&D or kind of whatever, Dark Souls and stuff. And then the audience wouldn't know whether to chuckle or be like, I'm going to be very kind of nervous approaching my bin. That's the kind of thing, that kind of the angle they could have went, and whether they weren't too sure what to do, but they could have did that. They could have made it unsettling, make people, like in Blink, don't trust these fucking stone statues. They could fucking get you. And so you're going to put the bin out, or I don't know about this, you could eat me. But
yeah, I mean that would have been great, seeing people just walk down the street, and whenever a bin shows up, it's like, I'm gonna walk to the other side of the street now.
Yeah, fuck that. I ain't walking to that death bin.
Yeah, more sinister music and maybe a growl at the end instead of a burp. Like would have been something really cool. Because then when Rose comes, well, before we get to that, let's talk about Rose and Clive and him
We
discussing.
we're jumping ahead, aren't we? Because we got the massive explosion.
Yeah, we got the
massive explosion, and then you've got the scene with Jackie propositioning.
Oh God.
You've got that fun little scene before that. It's like, what are you doing here? I live here. What did you do that for? Just that quick kind of bounce off between the two guys, and then you've got the proposition from Jackie.
Oh God, that was cringe. I mean, well, let's put it this way: when I saw it originally back in 2005, I thought it was funny. I watch it again now, and I'm like, oh God, Jackie, please.
I don't know, Steve. Younger me, younger me would have been. I don't understand. What did Jackie think was going to happen? Bear in mind that her daughter was next door. Like,
exactly.
I don't. But it sets Jackie up. This is who she is.
Between her propositioning the doctor and her trying to get Rose compensation from anybody. I mean, the newspaper's offering 500 quid for an interview, and you get 2,000 quid from this government office for this. And like, good Lord, Jackie. I mean, who are you trying to get money for? Her or you?
Well, why have one when you can have both? But and the doctor's response, oh, millions. We're talking millions in conversation, and then we go into that kind of routine. But I think people judge Jackie too harshly. I think it was good casting and it was a funny character. Maybe in later series but in the here and now, I think it was good casting. It didn't disrupt the flow of the episode. It kind of led into what was coming, and then that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. In classic Doctor Who, you had him and his companions jumping all over the place. In New Who, it was very they went to the future, they went to the past and stuff, but there was always almost like an anchor in the here and now.
Yeah, that
they didn't want to stray too far from. Hence, Jackie and Mickey were that anchor to the here and now. They were almost. I know the companion's supposed to be the viewer, you and me, as we. But I think more Jackie and Mickey were us, as in the here and now, wondering what the heck's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it was
and then we got the scene with Eccleston dancing with an arm.
Yes. Yeah, trying to kill him.
And again, they went the comedic route, and I think that was fine. The episode overall has a more comedic tone, I would say, necessarily than kind of unsettling. And I think that was the right thing to do to bring people in. Yeah. I think if you went straight in and you started doing unsettling stuff, and I don't think that was the intention throughout the series anyway, but you know what I mean. I think it was the right thing to bring people in.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said before, Doctor Who was always one of those things where back in classic Doctor Who, they wanted to get you with the monsters, and then the monster of the week. They wanted kids hiding and behind the couch and stuff. But yeah, having some comedy mixing the comedy and the danger was a great mix. I know as we go down the line, RTD, we're going to talk about him in a less positive light. But in the here and now in 2005. When he helped revive Doctor Who, I think he did a fairly decent job of bringing it back to the masses, taking what worked in the classic and mixing it with what people expected today, and made a good show.
Yeah,
I was happy with it. I know there are some people who are diehard classic Who fans. Are like, after Sylvester McCoy, nothing exists.
Yeah.
Everything else is garbage. And I respect them because I can see where they're coming from. Myself, like I said, I love Doctor Who. I loved the movie when it came out in 96. I love the New Who mostly. And I was happy to see New Who show up, and it was I could continue on with the story. I could jump back into the TARDIS with the Doctor and go on more adventures, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah. And it made it so easy with their kind of choice of leading man. I think Eccleston was, the absolute right choice. I don't know who else was in the running, if there was anybody else in the running. And I think it really is a shame that he didn't get his second and maybe third series,
Yeah.
But maybe even then, like you said, Eccleston has already alluded to, hasn't he, multiple times that, things weren't necessarily right backstage. Well, we do. So, if you don't, then that's cool. But
I enjoy New Who from Eccleston to mostly Capaldi. And when we eventually get to him, we'll talk about where the show started falling off hard. But like I said, it was being starved for Doctor Who, and especially in the United States, seeing as how Doctor Who is a quintessential British program, and it's almost, you can't separate the two. You can't separate Britain, England and Doctor Who. They're like this. So being in the States and getting new Doctor Who, I was excited. I was happy to see it. I enjoyed it, and I was willing to take it on. Just like classic Doctor Who, not every new episode was great. There were some episodes you're like, I'll watch it. And in the rewatches, I do a lot of times, I'll skip it.
Yeah.
Now, for our purposes here, I'm going to watch every episode from now until the end of Eccleston. Because we're not going. If I haven't said it before, we're not going any farther than Eccleston's last episode.
I think the thing is, kind of, it was being, dare I say, we use the terms modern audience now, but it was being, it was being regenerated, pardon the pun, for a modern audience, and oh, okay, I get what Chris is saying. Okay, yeah. I've never heard that term, to be honest with you, Chris. So fair enough. I got you. I thought you misspelled New Who. Apologies, buddy.
That's a new one for me too. But thank you.
Yeah. We completely agree. We're on the same page. Excellent.
Yeah, the By Generations was just crap. Anything RTD did after he came back, I mean, that and Chibnall, it's just garbage. So yes, I'm glad to see we're all on the same page. We all love Doctor Who, and we all hate Neo Who.
So bring this back. So we have the scene, don't we, with the arm, and they throw the arm away, and then we have the scene, don't we, with Eccleston and Piper. Oh, we have the kind of the world rotating kind of bit, don't we?
One thing I want to bring back, I got to rewind a little bit. The one thing I thought was absolutely stupid. The fact that Rose ran the whole way home holding that plastic arm. I'd have dropped it as soon as the explosion. I'd have dropped the thing and I would have ran.
But
she held on to it.
But we needed it.
We needed it.
Did she run it home, or did it?
Well, she got home with it. Mickey shows up, says they need.
Because I thought, it's not worth rewatching and kind of fact checking, but because I thought you hear a sound effect for the letterbox, then she goes to the door, and then the doctor's there, and I kind of thought I didn't notice her bring it back.
Yeah, well, see, what happened was Mickey ended up throwing it away.
Yeah,
and then I must have crawled back through that little cat door thing. And yeah, so when the doctor shows up, and they're talking, the arm's there in the living room, and he's like, "What are you doing with this?" And she's like, and then it attacks him. Sometimes when your head is somewhere else. Yeah.
Well, Mickey feels that, doesn't he, in this episode? Or plastic Mickey does anyway when his fucking head's popped off.
Yeah, I'm just watching from my vantage point. Yeah, it would be easy to go, just drop the arm already. But yeah,
I don't notice that. I always thought the arm entered, and and that sound effect was kind of that, But
well,
I agree. That's
you're half right. It did come in. You did hear the sound, but it's after Mickey threw it away and it crawled back.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, they needed to get it there, I suppose. They needed to get it there, and sometimes you just got to go with the obvious, haven't you? But yeah, we have that again. We have that kind of hand-holding scene again, and he kind of makes us see the universe. And it could be a euphemism for that. I don't know, what else keep referring to, but and then he just fucks off.
But I think that little speech he gives about clinging to the skin of the world and stuff, I thought that really encapsulated who this doctor is. I mean, he's running around, he's being kind of quippy. He's like, "Oh, I live here." Well, why are you doing that? And look in the mirror like, "Oh, these ears."
Yes, what Chris has just literally just said.
Yeah. And that's something else I wanted to talk about, the regeneration. Thank you, Chris, for bringing this to my attention. When he goes, I mean, I'm going to bounce around here a little bit. When Rose goes to talk to Clive shows her a lot of stuff.
Before, what I was thinking links into Clive as well. So we got all these things working, like unit is in operation, and all this kind of stuff. And you're telling me not one organization has approached him about, like, how do you know about this? What is all your information? Slip him a retcon pill. It just goes completely. He's there on fucking, and I think that webpage still works, by the way, Steve.
Oh, really?
That Find Doctor Who or whatever. When I was reading up on a little bit of trivia, which I've forgotten because I'm old. But the webpage still worked as of 2024, and it was still being maintained by the BBC. Just thinking, what no intelligence agency like approached this asshole, and then maybe we should stop this.
If I was Unit and I saw somebody, posting stuff about the doctor, I'd be knocking on his door like, yeah, we're gonna have to take your computer, sir.
Yeah, so, and that computer as well. When you see Billy kind of typing on Mickey's computer, and just the memories, massive chunky fucking monitor. It's absolutely kind of exactly.
Yeah. I mean, being an old school fan, I knew Unit was. I mean, I figured Unit was still around somewhere. It had to be.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until like series 3 that we actually see Unit proper.
I guess you can forgive RTD for that because let's be honest, it's nothing in the scheme of things, and it's nothing in the cock-up future in the show. But I guess the idea is you don't want to overcomplicate things. You needed a plot point to reunite everybody and to set off Plastic Mickey and all that kind of stuff. So but just something funny when you're rewatching it. Kate is doing fuck all with her foreign boyfriend again. It's just.
And to be honest, after Tom Baker, they really didn't use Unit that much in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So having Unit kind of not around in Eccleston's series is not a huge stretch. It's in fact it's you could almost explain it away as the Doctor has been gone for so long, they've simply given up, and they're not even worried about him anymore. So RTD, I helped you out. I give you a way out.
I don't think he's bothered right now. Don't think he's bothered. Be. Yeah, but apologies. So I think we're going to caught up with ourselves now. So we go to see Clive, the weirdo.
Dad, your nutter's here. I never heard anyone being called a nutter before that episode, and I'm like, now I'm going to call everybody that.
It's a UK thing, one of the lovely things you'll pick up, I suppose, from the program. But sorry. So what were you going to say? Sorry, we sidetracked.
Oh, I was just say, the fact that Clive is showing Rose all these pictures of the Doctor, being here and there. But when he's in his
Those pictures were awful. They were the most shittest fakes I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah. But back in 2005, I thought they were great.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is, he's showing all these pictures, but back in her apartment, he's like, wow, the ears, it's almost as if he hasn't seen his face before. So there was kind of a little disconnect there. He's like, I know he wanted to make the Doctor kind of new, like, oh wow, the ears. But he's trying to also establish that that his version of the Doctor, Eccleston, has been around for a little while.
Yeah,
you're right. I completely
that's a fair
forgot.
Point. Yeah,
I completely forgot. And again, we're going to get there. And I apologize for my. I think I've forgotten more about Doctor Who than there are some people on YouTube streaming Doctor Who stuff that I think I've forgotten more than they even know about. So I appreciate you, Chris, bringing that up. Thank you. They did. And again, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get here. Aliens in London. Already working on the thumbnail for that episode. I deserve that.
But I think, to be fair, in kind of Steve's defense, as you said, at that point, it was just like an Easter egg. It's not. I don't still think it was kind of part of the grand plan. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what RTD had in mind for the future of Doctor Who at this point. After I rewatched Rose the first time a couple days ago off my DVD, there's a bonus thing where it's him and Julie Gardner basically filming each other. He's talking about writing the first couple episodes. It shows them at a table read through for the first episode. It shows a couple scenes of them filming. I think they were filming Aliens in London, and then they showed first they showed the actor in the pig suit without the head, and then they showed him in his suit running down the hall, and they showed Eccleston running, and you heard somebody go cut. So, yeah, but so I know he had a vision at least for the first season, but as for long term, I don't know what he thought he was going to do. I don't even know if he had a long term vision.
I mean, we had the regeneration of the Tenant, didn't we? I mean, series 2 was year after, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
it was pretty close, wasn't it? So I mean,
it wasn't long after the episodes first started airing. The news came out Eccleston wasn't going to be in series 2.
True.
So right away, it's like, okay, this guy is regenerating at the end of this episode, at the end of the series. We know that. That's a big deal.
I mean, maybe series 2 was kind of on a wing of the prayer a little bit,
So yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had already thought, all right, Christopher Eccleston after season 2, after season 1, here's what we're going to have him do. But then when he said, I'm out, they had to kind of, circle the wagons and go, we need another Doctor quick.
Who have we got? And, Casanova came into the spotlight.
Chris says, this is also the time they changed unit from United Nations Intelligence Task Force to United Intelligence. Yeah, they altered things a bit.
Do you think maybe if that was because they didn't want to get in trouble with the current iteration of the globalist agenda?
I don't know. When we start watching more, I'll have to get into the hopefully the extras on my DVD will help me out, or if anybody in the chat knows, I'm more than happy to hear from you guys. But I'm And to be honest, as long as unit was always set up as a alien defense. I mean, things happen. Just watching Spearhead from space and listen to the Brigadier talk about, other agencies deal with stuff here on Earth. We deal with stuff that fall to Earth and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
In universe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you look at some of the stuff that goes on when kind of Torch was brought into, and again, we'll need to watch that episode to refresh my memory, but I'm sure Unit's probably mentioned, but, in that instance, where we're setting up. I wonder if RTD didn't want to use Unit because he wanted to obviously kind of have Torchwood kind of have a more prominent position.
Yeah.
And then we kind of worked out what Torchwood was going to be. They slid kind of to where they were. And then we kind of brought Unit back into play kind of series 3 for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Unit was always a large military organization, whereas Torchwood, I mean, that was just 5 or 6 people, in the underground, dealing with things.
It wasn't originally, was it? Originally, you had a massive, it was like a rule Britannia. That's what we should have had. That's what we need now.
Because
need the British Empire back.
Just watching old episodes of Doctor Who, with Unit, they got the uniforms. You see them going out. They're blocking our streets off. They're basically a military unit, and it's great to see that. Taking charge, making sure people don't get making sure they don't get those Nestine consciousness
heads.
Things that are falling from space. The plastic from space.
Pardon me.
So Rose talks to Clive. She and then she ends up coming back to a plastic Mickey, which I don't know how she didn't realize that wasn't Mickey.
I think we've already established this episode that she's a bit fucking stupid. But that being said, you would have thought, as you're probably about to say, that, understanding that these are actually, not just kind of students moving mannequins around, that maybe with a boyfriend, without being racist about it, is a more browner shade of brown, that maybe something's wrong. Maybe you need to see a doctor. Not that doctor.
Yeah, they were a bigger force. And then after the Battle of Canary Wharf, they
yeah, that's what we're saying. It's
but I mean, still, Torchwood was a very secretive organization. I mean, they did make themselves public, as far as I know.
Yeah, but they were in series 2, though, weren't they? They had that massive fucking tower. yeah, perhaps, yeah. As opposed to just stumbling around, kind of shooting stuff.
Yeah. Although, I mean, because rewatching Spearhead and Terror of Autons, some of the Autons look like, just guys in a plastic mask. Some they looked actual human, and it wasn't until they, were defeated. So
I don't think that's something we ever covered in New Who, was it? Like a fully realistic kind of Auton.
No, because the only other not until you got to the end of series 5.
Okay, that's where I start getting a bit hazy, if I'm honest, because I didn't watch a lot of that stuff in order. I was starting to get a little bit fatigued by it, but because you have like the human Dalek or whatever, don't you? Like the Trojan Dalek and stuff. But I never really remembered like an Auton plot with fully realized human plastic people.
It'll be a while till we get there, so we can talk about it now, and people will forget about it till then. But at the end of season 5, the Doctor and
Clara,
Amy, show up at that Roman encampment, and
oh yeah, something to do with Rory, isn't it?
they find Rory there. And they find the
Gotcha.
Romans.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
Roman,
yeah.
the whole Roman legion are Autons.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Rory,
There you go.
his hand drops. He's an Auton.
Yeah,
he tries
of
not
course,
to.
yeah. It's getting late in the UK, and I'm old, so
It's no excuse. It's no excuse.
it's every excuse. But yeah, where were we in the episode? Sorry.
She just got back in the car with Mickey. And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Plastic Mickey. Yeah,
Plastic
Jesus
Mickey, and
fucking Christ.
and
Why
they
did he
went
choose
out.
pizza over Chinese?
And Mickey was acting
I'm not
weird.
saying there's anything wrong with that, but
Mickey was acting more like Max Headroom than anything, with the stuttering and the baby sweetie honey, just kind of flashing.
and he just got more on Rose there, just like completely head in the clouds,
Amy and River song, yes, absolutely, yeah. It's not that late here, but I've had a few of these, so
lucky.
So they're having pizza. Mickey's acting weird. Rose is trying to tell him what's going on, and then some guy shows up like, champagne.
Do you think that kind of just proves how much Rose didn't care about Mickey? That she just wasn't paying any attention to him, that he literally got replaced by a fucking plastic Barbie-like kind of model of him, and she didn't fucking realize.
Yeah. Beats pizza.
But yeah, that again, champagne, celebrating a happy couple.
Yeah, she has no idea that Mickey's not Mickey. Plastic Mickey doesn't realize what's going on. Neither does Rose. And you got some guy trying to push champagne, and it's not until you kind of see his leather clad sleeve, oh wait, that's not a waiter, that's the doctor. And then they push out, and you see the doctor, and
he pops
that cork into Mickey,
quite literally,
into Mickey, and hits his forehead, and
he blows his load all over Mickey's face.
He spits it out, and then Mickey gets these giant, hands. It starts. Although I gotta admit, when the doctor pulls his head off, and he's just walking around with those big cleaver type hands, plastic hands, chopping everything up. That was hilarious. Yeah. I thought that was just the funniest thing.
Yeah.
How can something that ridiculous be scary?
I know. Yeah, exactly. But thing as well, I mean, I've just finished a complete rewatch of Scrubs over the last couple of weeks, and there's scenes with JD daydreaming about being a head doctor with a separate body. And for some reason, I just have those kind of flashbacks with JD chanting, "Body, come!" And the body kind of comes from wherever. But again, it was splashing more kind of comedy, and maybe that's what puts some people off. That it's a bit too much comedy and stuff. And I understand that kind of point of view, but it was funny. So and it didn't overstay its welcome.
So the doctor and Rose run away from Plastic Mickey. They run to the back of they run out the back of the restaurant. And she's like, "Oh, we got to get out of here. Use your thingy to open the lock." You're like, "We'll just get in here."
Yeah,
talking about
just get in the shed,
the police box. And she's like, "We can't fit in there. It's tiny." And so he walks in, unfazed. He's like, "Follow me. Don't follow me. I don't care." Which is great. I love the fact that at the beginning, Eccleston's doctor was just like, "I really don't care. You want to come with me? Great. If you don't, I don't care."
I think he would care, though. I think if she didn't, he would have.
At the end, yeah. At the end, we'll get to that. But right now, he's just like, "I don't care. I'm getting in the TARDIS." So she finally gets in the TARDIS, freaks out, seeing it's bigger on the inside, and she runs out, walks around, does her thing, runs back in. And that's when she realizes, he's not from Earth. He's not from around here. He looks human, but he ain't. And he moves, he hooks Mickey's head up the TARDIS. It melts. He freaks out.
Yeah, it's just fucking dripping everywhere.
And then he runs out of the
Mickey's
TARDIS.
goo all over the dashboard.
Goo all, and not even the good kind of goo. I mean, if you're going to get goo over the dashboard, especially with Bill, with Rose,
Exactly. Think of the children.
So the doctor runs out. Rose like, no, you can't go out there. And then she runs out like, oh, we moved. He's like, yeah, it's a spaceship. We start here and we end up here. And he's like, all right, the Nestine consciousness is controlling these plastic people. A big dish. There's got to be a big dish around here. I can't see it. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's got to be close. And Rose just keeps going. Don't point. Don't go, hey, behind you. She just goes,
that idiot.
And then the doctor finally turns like, oh, smartest man in the universe. Outsmarted.
It's great PR for the London Eye as well.
Yeah, he's outsmarted by a teenage girl who used to work at a shop, but now can't because it's blown up. So they and she finds the entrance.
Yeah.
So they end up, going down, finding the Nestine consciousness. The doctor tries to, talk some sense into it.
Yeah.
Some Autons get a hold of him, find his anti-plastic.
Anti-plastic. That's something for the climate change lot, isn't there?
And he's like, yeah, no, hey, I wasn't going to use it. It was just just something I had just in case. All the while, Rose finds Mickey. He's cowering in a corner, and then when she finds him, he's hanging onto her leg like a 2-year-old who got lost to find his mom, which I just thought was the absolute dumbest thing. I did not know who RTD was when this show first came out. Knowing what I know now, looking back, I absolutely realize why he made Mickey look so incompetent and so stupid. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, he's hanging on to her leg like, no, don't leave me. Oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah.
And Rose is like, dun, 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 I'm going to help the doctor.
Yeah, but I mean, the dialogue kind of matches. She's kind of come to the terms with it. She's not, she's got no qualifications, etc. You know the line. We've all seen the episode, and I think that's acceptable. It kind of fits the character. She's not, like her character's evolving a little bit. She's got a bit braver. She realizes, she's got no future, so she may as well try and save the Earth because it's all going to shit.
True. Although I think she connects with the doctor a little quicker than I think she should. I mean, for all the weirdness going on, I'd still be a little freaked out. I wouldn't just be, throwing my lot in with him right away, kind of like she does. I mean, it's almost as if she's like, I'm all in. Even when I was, 18, 19 years old, I got a job. I'm doing stuff. Some stranger shows up, and some weird things happen. I might try to put some distance between me and that person
and try and understand what's going on. Yeah,
but I mean, but I know it's for the show, so I suspend my disbelief enough to allow this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's acceptable. It's
like, would you like the Nestine Conscious from Series 1 or the Nestine Conscious from the 90s, also on trilogy movies? Series 1 was fine.
See, I've got nothing compared to. I haven't watched any classic Who yet, which is still something I want to try and get done. So again, I can't comment.
But we got Rose The Doctor's been captured by the Autons. He's drugged in front of the consciousness. They find the antiplastic. Mickey's hanging off, Rose like a toddler who doesn't want his mommy to leave. And again, I think she just I think she's more than what I think she should be at this point. I mean, at this point now, all of a sudden it becomes Rose is the defender of the Earth, whereas I'd be freaked out seeing a giant tub of plastic, moving around.
Yeah, I think maybe RTD just wanted to, again, trying to defend him. But again, we're talking about kind of back then, not now. And I wonder, he just wants to move it along. It was a very fast-paced show, very fast-paced episode. Just wants to move it along, and so we can kind of get to where we need to be, which is the Doctor and Rose just going about their merry way, having adventures. Like I said, I don't necessarily think there's much of an issue with the way it was done. It's not like as you say, she just kind of strikes a pose and then kind of just leaps. She has to think about it for a couple of seconds. She kicks kind of Mickey off, and she's like, right,
yeah,
no
she finds.
I may as well just fucking jump off this rope or chain or whatever it was.
Yeah, she finds something. She cuts the chain. She swings down, knocks the Autons off. The one Alton had a hold of the antiplastic. He falls into the consciousness.
Giant explosion.
And then for some reason, everything starts to explode.
we finish as we began with giant explosions.
I mean, I don't know why everything explodes, unless the entire building was somehow connected to the consciousness. There should be no reason why it explodes. But hey, I guess he had a couple extra bucks, and they wanted to make a big splash for the first episode. Let's have a lot of explosions.
Maybe there was another gas pipe that was cut. That's what it was. And the spark from the vial of anti-plastic was enough to trigger a detonation. But it kind of sends the ending out on a bang, doesn't it? Otherwise, it could have just I guess you didn't want like a fart and a whimper. It just dissolved and that's it. You want something grand to finish on.
So, Destiny consciousness taken care of. Everybody races back into the TARDIS, and
One thing, kind of we going to say, kind of just because it was going on throughout the scene was, the attack on the shopping centre by the Autons and Jackie, because she went to the police station because she's found a form to get compensation, because that's a running theme, and then the Autons, wedding Autons, little kid Autons, and that was pretty funny, actually, I have to admit.
Yeah, I mean that was almost a carbon copy of Spearhead from Space.
Yeah,
because at the end of Spearhead from Space, the consciousness releases all the Autons. They start, walking through, the town, shooting people. In the New Who, poor Clive and his family. Clive dies.
Did he need to die? I wonder. Is what? I mean, to be fair, we never see his body, but it's alluded to that he is iced. But
yeah, Chris says he says kind of going. It was connected to the Nestine consciousness. I can see that. I mean that's basically where I came from. But originally, when I saw it, I'm like, why all the explosions? I mean, it just seemed odd. But when you look at it, when I kind of looked at it more, I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's this Nestine consciousness kind of, sunk itself down into this spot, and it kind of spread its tentacles out. So I can see where that could work.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because the guy comes back as a different character in another series, doesn't he? If memory serves. I don't think it's Clive, is it?
I wanted to say yes, but I'm not sure. I was going to look back. I was going to dive into IMDb and check to see if he did.
Yeah, it's not something something worth kind of bending our brains over. But just if it is the fact that he's dead, it just, I don't know, I didn't see the point really in that. That's maybe the only thing I'd maybe kind of correct. I don't understand. It just seemed a bit pointless, to be honest.
And again, first episode, you want to make a splash. You want to be, edgy.
But that wasn't really the theme of the episode, though, was it? So,
but when you see a character, even though Clive was just like a not even a secondary character, he was like a third or fourth character. Someone you've seen before already in the episode die or supposedly die. That kind of makes you go, ooh,
maybe. I mean,
and now you know how serious this is.
I mean, Chris is saying, yeah,
he's dead.
What I'm thinking. So, and they bring the guy back. It just, you've made more work for yourself now. You bring in the guy back when you could have and you'd have all that backstory, wouldn't you? He already knows what's going on, and that just a minor thing, just a bit silly. That's all. It didn't fit the theme of the episode. It kind of sticks out because Jackie doesn't die or whatever, and for good reason, I suppose, being a side kind of character, but. They could have just had a second or two of just auton destruction. I don't think we needed to do that.
So we had the Autons attacking, but then they all just kind of fell over dead.
Yeah.
After the Nestine consciousness got hit with the antiplastic. Everyone runs into the TARDIS. They escape, and they end up in some alley somewhere. Doors open. Mickey comes screaming out. Rose follows. Doctor just kind of saunters through, standing at the door, and Rose is kind of, she's holding Mickey, and Mickey's like, yeah, he's not human. He's a thing. He's an alien. I'm not even going to try to do an English accent. I'm not going to try to.
Thanks for that, Mickey.
Embarrass myself.
That now,
Yeah, I'm not going to try to embarrass myself with that, but then the doctor's like, hey, would you like to come with me and travel with me? And again, it just seems a little too soon. Hey, I know we just battled this alien together. And at first Rose is like, well, I really can't. Someone's got to look after this, moron. Thanks, but no thanks. And then the doctor, says, okay, and goes away. And then like 2 seconds later, he comes back. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, it's also a time machine. and
Rose, that's the thing that kind of sways her,
Rose turns around and gives the absolute worst line in the this tells you who Rose is.
It does, doesn't it?
And how bad she is. She says, she looks at Mickey and goes, thanks. He's like, for what? Exactly.
Yeah.
And she turns and runs towards the doctor. I mean,
now the first watch, you don't think much of it. You think, yeah, because Mickey's been just shown to be a bum, but now it just shows, yeah, she's pretty shit.
Doctor seemed impressed with Rose's attitude.
Yeah,
and no, yeah, I agree 100%. And I don't know we don't know how long the doctor's been traveling by himself at this point. So he might want, a companion to come along and share the adventure. So that might be why he offers her up. She's 19 and bored with her life. I can remember when I was 19. Like I said, if the doctor showed up when I was 19, depending on what happens, I may have jumped in the TARDIS. I may have said, nah, man, that's just too freaky for me.
Too out there, too wild.
I got to go. But all in all, Rose was a good episode.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
it was a great episode. I felt it was a good episode to get Doctor Who back on track. Like I said, I mean, at this point, after one episode, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how the Doctor is going to be portrayed. Is this? I mean, they when the Nestine consciousness was talking to him, he he told him he was a Time Lord,
Yeah.
and they mentioned the Time War, although just briefly, just enough to give you a taste of the Time War and who he was. He's a Time
And
Lord.
to make the audience think, you know, about just a little bit more about kind of who the character was.
Yeah, I mean, old fans, when they heard that, they're like, yes. And new fans were like,
Curious.
Time Lord, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I might want to stick around and find out what's going on. Yes, it was a nice start to New Hill.
I agree. And it probably had the benefit of, you know, people that, you know, hadn't kind of, you know, wasn't really kind of aware of Doctor Who. All of a sudden they kind of started searching, started kind of looking kind of older media and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine there was a nice little kind of, you know, surge in kind of merchandise and all that kind of stuff as well, from the older stuff as well as the newer stuff. Because they had kind of toys and all that kind of stuff come out as well, didn't they, later on down the line? So
I know I don't know if it was as pronounced, but I know around here in the States, in some of the stores in the malls, started selling a lot more Doctor Who stuff. And I know it hit its peak around the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fell off after that. But I know I can remember going to like a store that sold like video, like DVDs and stuff. And there was like a huge Doctor Who section that had a lot of old Doctor Who DVDs for sale. And I started, oh, I need this. And mostly Tom Baker stuff, because again, he was my doctor.
Yeah.
I wish I had got more, but at the time I was young. I'm saving my pennies, trying to get I had a car, but I wanted a better car. I wanted to get a place of my own. I had bills to pay,
priorities, etc.
So I had
you
priorities.
Go to these stores now, and it's just kind of shooty season and all this kind of stuff. All the stuff nobody wants to see. All the anything watchable now, people just buy straight away.
But all in all, Rose was a great episode for old fans to hop onto and for new fans to hop on and catch that wave.
Yep, completely agree. Yeah.
Chris saying, apparently in some extended lore, the Nestine Conscious had taken over a galaxy near Gallifrey. There's a war between the Nestine Conscious and the Time Lords, with Rassilon resorting to using the Galaxy Eater the moment to destroy them. The full frame. Yes. Yeah. At the time, I was not doing a whole lot of extra Doctor Who stuff. I was whatever's being shown on TV. I was there. It wasn't until later on I started reading some books, getting into the Big Finish stuff, because I liked the Eighth Doctor, the movie, and I know Big Finish did a lot of stuff with the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah.
So the extended Doctor Who universe back then, it was something I did not get into, and I still haven't really dug into it as much as I should, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, it's just time though, isn't it? In that respect,
I mean,
there's always something else you got to be doing,
I mean, between that and I'm a huge Star Wars, Star Trek fan, and I was already deep into the extended universes in those two. Doing my own stuff, writing my own books, trying to become an author and create my own universes. Time does get away from me.
Yeah, it does for everyone, to be fair. There's a lot of material to be able to get through.
But I appreciate all the extended Doctor Who lore. I do have some Doctor Who books behind me that I have read, and I love them. I got some. I don't have a whole lot of Big Finish stuff, only because when I first started getting into them and knowing who they were trying to push online stuff. They wanted you to get them digitally, and all I had at the time was an iPod, and I'm like, how am I going to get them on my iPod? I don't know how.
Things were so difficult back then.
Chris says, I recommend a fan story, Doctor Who, Exhausted Supplies, 1 hour long story on YouTube where the 9th and 12th Doctor Cross Path takes place. Ooh.
Okay.
That's interesting. I would much
worth a listen or a watch.
I would very much like to watch that. Yes. I will have to
add it to the list.
Add to the list of stuff I'm going to do. I got some free time tomorrow before I'm going to be on
hell yeah,
Chris's stream. So maybe I'll try to check that out tomorrow and give it a watch or a listen or whatever it is. Thank you, Chris, for pointing that out. Appreciate that.
That looks all right. Yeah, sounds good.
So we've gone through Rose. It's an audio story. Okay, cool. Do they do voices, or is it just is it just somebody reading a story? Because I mean, it doesn't matter either way. I'm in for it either way. Although if you got people doing voices, that'd be really cool. But Chris, I'm going to ask you to reach back into the sands of time. Watching the first episode of Doctor Who Rose, what were your thoughts after you watched it? Do you remember? I mean, is it something you thought was, wow, this is really cool?
Yeah. You know, it just, they said, you know, it was fast paced. Everything kind of just aligned with it. Kind of, you know, the music, the cast, the story, you know, it all just kind of rotated as one. And you had your little tease for the next episode. And you just think, wow, I can't wait for, I can't wait a whole 6-7 days, but you had to back then, didn't you? There was no stream, whatever. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I can't wait. I want to see more of this. This is good.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I was very excited that Doctor Who was back. I love the fact that we're getting more adventures. We're getting back in the TARDIS and we're going on just some wild rides. Yeah. I remember seeing a lot of the trailers on YouTube leading up to it. It got me really excited. And just Rose was a great Rose. I mean, for all its flaws, and Rose does have a lot of flaws. In the end, it's a great jumping on point.
Yeah,
and I'm very excited. I'm glad people bought into it and grabbed a hold of it and decided to go on this ride, because I think what happened afterwards, despite how Doctor Who has fared recently, the majority of New Who was really good. And it in my opinion, it helped extend Doctor Who.
It revitalized it, didn't it?
Revitalized.
It's not perfect, but it got it was Doctor Who for, dare I say, a modern audience, a more not the modern audience as we refer to it now, but the audience at the time.
Chris says the voices are pretty well done.
Okay.
It's a full cast. And he was 13 when Doctor Who came back. Never seen him before. So this was his first experience with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, 2005, I was 34. Yeah. I'm an oldie. I'm an oldie, man. So, yeah, I'm watching Doctor Who, like I said, back in like the late 80s, mid to late 80s, even before most of you guys were born.
Yeah.
I was digging on Doctor Who. So I think this is a good first episode. I think this is a good start. I'm looking forward to rewatching more Doctor Who. Next week is the end of the world.
Well, I mean, hopefully, with what's going on in the world. But if we're talking about Doctor Who, then yeah.
That's the title of the next episode. The end of the world. Hopefully, we're not going to have the end of the world before next week. Like I said, I got the thumbnail all ready to go. I'm looking forward to getting it out there and getting some more people. I want to thank the chat for showing up, especially Sparta Chris. Appreciate you. Thanks for
nice to meet you, man.
Showing up. Please come back next week.
Please.
We're gonna start an hour earlier next week. We're gonna be starting at 2, right, Chris?
Or is it later?
You said start an hour earlier.
No, later.
An hour later.
Yeah.
Oh. So we're starting at 4. That's fine too.
We'll work all that out. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. And
at some point in time.
I will be putting stuff out on X and on the YouTube comments, the YouTube chat. So just if you're not subscribed to the Nerd Way, please do. That way you'll know when the next episode of Madmen in a Box pops up. If you know any Doctor Who fans who love old, new Doctor Who, share this with them. Give them the link so they can rewatch this, or let them know, hey, come around next week. We got these yahoos who are talking about Doctor Who. They mostly know what they're talking about.
Oh, I don't know about that. Just gonna bumble through it.
Yeah, Chris's classic Who ended 2 years before I was born. Unless you want to take into account the curse of the fatal death. That was funny. I enjoyed that when I saw it. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I think about it. So, yes, again, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, Chris, for being here for the inaugural kickoff for Madmen in a Box. As we go on, we may have more people show up on the panel here to discuss things. If it's just me and Chris, that's fine too. As long as we got you guys in the chat to help us out and talk to us and set us straight when we can't think of something.
I was going to say shout out to the people lurking and watching. We've got people kind of checking in on X saying that they're watching. So. Yeah, they're too scared to get into the chat. They know who they are. I'm watching you.
That's fine. I don't mind lurkers. You want to creep, you can go ahead and creep.
I love creeping. Who doesn't?
But yes, next week we will be having the end of the world. So be ready for that. If you guys in chat want to be ready, pull your old DVDs out, give it a rewatch, so we can all enjoy it together. Chris, thank you for being here. Chat, thank you. And that's all we got.